With the first selection, 2004 NHL Entry Draft, the Washington Capitals are pleased to select Alexander Ovechkin.
I think, when he stepped foot in the NHL, I think a lot of people were, well, let's see what this guy can do.
During his first NHL shift, Ovechkin made his presence felt.
Going back to his first game in the league, first shift, he plastered Radoslav Suchy of Columbus.
Alexander Ovechkin just buried Radoslav Suchy.
Basically just threw him into the glass behind the net, and you could just see that this guy put his own stamp on everything that he does.
Alex wasted no time netting his first goal later in the game.
Alexander Ovechkin, welcome on board.
What a first goal, and this youngster hammers it home.
Ovi then added a second goal, and Washington's young star tasted victory for the first time in the NHL.
Here's Ovechkin coming in. He scores! What a play by Alexander Ovechkin.
So many of his real, true highlight goals go back to that first year. I remember how many times he tormented the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Ovechkin full throttle. Ovechkin to the outside, he scores! Alexander Ovechkin rides again!
He poked the puck past the guy to the offensive blue line. Then he outskated, basically just blew past two guys.
Alexander Ovechkin, he comes in from a bad angle against Corey Sarich.
Corey Sarich, if he remembers back to 05-06, Caps Lightning, Corey's going to want to cover his eyes because Ovechkin made a meal out of him.
Sarich keeps him to the outside, but Ovechkin says, backhand, top shelf, short side. Is that energy? Is that talent?
I think that was the most kind of complete show of just how ridiculously awesome he can be.
This is outstanding individual talent.
At the end of the goal, I was so tired because I gave all my emotion, all my power to this moment.
The one that first opened my eyes was the one against Philadelphia where he worked Chris Terry.
Ovechkin waits, holds, toe drag, stop, rebound, score! Alexander Ovechkin!
It was one of those where you saw it and you didn't believe it when you first saw it. You wanted to see it again just to see exactly how he did it. Then you watched it and you're stunned.
It's just not hand skills or stick skills that allow him to score these pretty goals. It's his balance and his size and his strength, and we think that combination makes him great.
Here comes Ovechkin in with it. Ovechkin scores! Alex Ovechkin.
You're thinking, yeah, I'll be watching that one for a while. And then a couple weeks later in Anaheim, he has the statement game where he scores a hat trick, including the game winner in overtime.
This is Chris Clark. Clark for Ovechkin behind the defense.
Ovechkin walking in. He scores! Ovechkin stepping in. Little curl and drag. Ovechkin fires and scores!
That's one of his trademark moves. Thread the puck through a defenseman's legs.
Here's Ovechkin coming up with a loose puck. Cuts to the middle. Spun around. He scored! Oh my, he was all tangled up and he worked it through everybody.
When you think about it, everything's moving. The defenseman's moving. Ovi's moving. The puck's moving, and he seems to find that perfect vector where everything just comes together and he can thread that thing through.
Alexander Ovechkin with a splash dive for goal number 2. Make their way to Phoenix overnight tonight. Coyotes to call on them Monday afternoon. Still 2 minutes with which to work in overtime. Ovechkin fires and scores! OV in OT for the win!
Shot! He went to the middle and then came back short side. The hat trick completes a Washington overtime win.
When you're a player on another team, you see those morning highlights, just kind of shake your head. Whether you like them, you hate them, you have to say that's pretty impressive anyway.
Alex continued his highlight streak with 2 jaw droppers against Phoenix and then St. Louis.
Later in the month against St. Louis, he inside out at Eric Weinrich, who's a pretty good NHL defenseman for a long time.
Ovechkin adds to the highlight reel.
It just seemed to be bang, 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 one right after another. They just put him on the map, every one of them.
Ovechkin lived up to the hype tonight.
brings an uncanny combination of skill, speed, strength, toughness.
When number 8 is flying down the ice, defenders have a fraction of a second to try and stop him.
I think they are a little bit scared. He has such a good shot and everything, and he can do like moves.
You're just trying not to embarrass yourself. Although I guess if you look at some of the guys he's embarrassed, you're in pretty good company. There's nothing to be ashamed of there.
Number 1, I don't want to be burned and be on a highlight reel of OV getting around me. Number 2, if I back in too much, he's got the best shot in the world, he's going to beat me.
But the more that you fall back, the more likely he's just going to shoot it through you, and you're going to be embarrassed that way because you're just providing a screen for the goalie, basically.
The defenseman who's taking the rush, you don't know what's going to happen, neither do his own teammates. You know, if you're on the ice with him, you just start heading toward the net because you know a shot's coming.
Armed with an unquenchable lust for scoring, it seems blue liners don't have much of a chance stopping the Ovechkin freight train.
He's doing it through people and around people, with people on his back and falling down.
Everybody sees the couple of the highlights, but it's just the ones where he doesn't look like there's a play. It's kind of a 1-on-2 or a 1-on-3, and all of a sudden it turns into a goal.
Yeah, you want to get a piece of him. Yeah, you want to take off his head. But there's no way you can, because he's going to match you pound for pound, toughness for toughness, and more often than not, he's going to beat you anyways.
So many of his greatest goals are those end-to-end kind of make people miss, dodge 2 and 3 guys, and then beat the goalie. And that's what he's done against Buffalo a couple of times.
Ovechkin a blur down the wing. Inside out on Campbell. Big save. Rebound score! Alex Ovechkin.
He scores so many goals where he comes down the left wing and he's one-on-one with a guy, and you see him, he's either going to shoot through a guy's legs or he's going to make some sort of fancy stick handling move, and I think that was one of the ones where he kind of like drags it through and around.
When you think about it, everything's moving. The defenseman's moving, Ovi's moving, the puck's moving, and he seems to find that perfect vector where everything just comes together and he can thread that thing through.
A lot of the moves he does is just from pure grit and determination, and you mix that in with the great talent and the moves that he has, and all of a sudden he's getting by defensemen, scoring goals, and getting people out of their seats.
He's out in the corner. Caps get it back, but it's kept in there by Ludman. And he rolled it in front of the net. That's knocked down. Ovechkin starting away. Ovechkin to the Buffalo line and over. Shoots one, scores! Ovechkin!
Just a moment, I just try use some different thing, and it's working, so it's kind of cool goal.
It's hard not to be in awe or to say, holy smokes, like what do we just see? And as opposed to like let's get ready for the next shift.
He's like a runaway train out there, and anytime he touches the puck, you can hear this tangible electricity and this buzz around the crowd.
4 in that scrum, and Victor Kozlov comes out of there with Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin full throttle, fires and scores! Hat trick for Ovechkin!
It went through the defenseman's legs and up and over QA's shoulder, and that was in a game where he scored 4 goals and broke his nose, and I think it was a game winner in overtime that night too.
Not only does he score 4 goals in that night, he has his nose broken. He throws 3 incredible pyrotechnic-like checks. And then to cap the game the way he did with the winner in the overtime was just incredible.
Baxter for Green, fires, knocked down. In front, the chance, score! Ovechkin's 4th is the game-winning 5th.
He's doing those kind of goals. I mean, that's how he plays and how good he is. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Those poor defenders, they have to fear what it is that he can do. A lot of the times, there's the added flair of him diving on the ice, falling on the seat of his pants, landing on his stomach, and then instantly coming up with that kiss.
Part of Ovechkin's worldwide appeal is the enthusiasm he exhibits on and off the ice.
One of the things about him, he shows up with enthusiasm every time he is on the ice.
His enthusiasm is infectious.
It's genuine. None of that enthusiasm is manufactured.
Number 1, it gets the fans going. Number 2, it probably gets under the nerves of the opposition, which is also great.
You know, hockey's kind of a game of cold, assassin-like people sometimes, and Ovechkin just sort of breaks that mold and says, this is who I am, and I'm not afraid to show who I am.
It's unbelievable time. It's right on that.
You watch a college game or or a World Junior game, and you see guys jumping into the glass, and you know that's kind of like how I guess kids used to stick out their tongue like Michael Jordan.
My gosh, and who was this stick?
There's nothing fake about Alexander Ovechkin. People ask me, you know, behind closed doors, is he like that? He is even more like that. He's such a good teammate. He gets just as excited, you know, for Nick Backstrom to score or for David Steckel to score as he does for himself.
MVP! MVP! It is my honor to present to you Alexander Ovechkin, the key to the city of Washington, D.C.
Ovi gets the key to the city and says something like, you know what, today there's no speeding tickets. There's no speed limits.
So everybody have fun and no speed limit tickets.
If you see the cars he drives, you know he's all about speed.
It's kind of how he lives on the ice.
Thank you, everybody. Let's go, Caps.
More than just a goal scorer, Ovechkin is one of the fiercest competitors in the game.
He might be one of the 5 or 10 best hitters in the game too. I think people are a little leery of him whenever he's on the ice, even whenever he doesn't have the puck, because they don't want to get put into next week.
When he goes down the ice, whatever building we're in, whether it's home or away, people are standing on their feet and looking and watching, because it's just, something's going to happen.
Alex uses his arsenal of tools to help his teammates elevate their game and to make the Capitals a winner.
It would be one thing to say, you know, go play like Alex Ovechkin and score goals like that. We don't ask. Go watch him compete.
He works really hard, and you know, for the amount of minutes he plays, he almost gets better as the game goes on.
Go watch him finish his checks each and every shift. Go watch him battle along the wall and battle in front of the net and be excited about the game, and then go try to emulate that.
He's always bringing energy for everybody, for the team, and that's for sure something we're glad about. I support them, they support me, so it's always good when you have good chemistry, good relationship with those guys.
Backstrom tries the back door, Ovechkin scores!
He's just a great player to play with.
Isn't it nice for Washington fans and hockey fans in general to see headlines, Washington Capitals, hockey's most exciting team? And they've genuinely become that.
The reigning back-to-back MVP has helped make the Capitals a contender again. And in the 2009 Stanley Cup playoffs, his clutch goals created a worldwide buzz.
There are people who will stop me in airports and say, gosh, Joe, I love that Alex Ovechkin. He must be, what, about 5'10", 180 pounds. He moves so quick on the ice. And I have to say to them, well, no, you're wrong a little bit. He's 6'2½". He's 235 pounds. He skates like a locomotive. You would think at that size and liking contact the way he does, that in that instance in the playoffs against the Rangers, where several guys had the opportunity to hit him, that they would have hit him and bumped him off of his track, but he's elusive.
Off the draw, Morris shot a broken stick. Terdev, knocked down by Fedorov. Ovechkin moving up. Crisscrossing, sidestepping a hit. What a move! Ovechkin's in! His chance! Alex Ovechkin!
That one in particular takes your breath away because of the variety that he shows. The ability to move east and west, north and south, and again, on his way down, finish is just incomparable.
This is why Ovechkin has seen most of those guys, because, whoops! Derek Morris missed him. Ovechkin didn't.
I think he beat 2 or 3 guys, and then he took a backhand shot, and I think it went in between Lundqvist's legs.
All the guys in the team, I think we're not surprised anymore. Like things he's been doing on the ice, and I mean, some of the goals are just incredible.
2 or 3 guys had a chance to, you know, take the puck off him or do something to stop him, and he just sort of carved his way through all these guys. I mean, he can stick handle in a phone booth.
Phenomenal. Oh! Oh! Ovechkin.
Exciting goal, exciting moment, and especially in playoffs, beat 2 or 3 guys.
Watching him every day, the stuff he does is, pretty incredible. And I think, there's only a handful of guys that can do what he does.
From the day they both stepped into the NHL, the world has watched a competitive rivalry take shape between Alex and Sidney Crosby.
There was definitely a bit of a Crosby-Ovechkin rivalry the first couple of years that they were both in the league. And Pittsburgh's team was a little bit better. We didn't have the supporting cast that Sidney had there for a couple of years.
In Game 2 of the 2009 Eastern Conference semifinals, the two superstars added a new chapter to their saga as the duo netted 3 goals each.
That game in the playoffs, where Crosby and Ovechkin both had hat tricks, was pretty remarkable for all of us who were watching, because you realize what you were witnessing with these 2 great players.
After netting 2 clutch goals in the second period, Alex proved he could outduel Sidney with a dynamic game-winning third goal.
Oswald got it away. Ovechkin 1-on-1 against Sergei Gonchar, cutting in, firing, scores! Alex Ovechkin is the Mad Hatter.
It's fun for us to see it, and I mean we're happy for him. He scored those goals.
He's the guy that wants the puck on his stick the last minute of every game. The bigger the game, the more pressure, the more he wants it, and the more he thrives on it.
In that Pittsburgh series, they really couldn't stop him. Those 3 goals in that game were what put the Caps up 2-0 to that point in the series.
Ovechkin's stars shined brightest that game, but Crosby and the Penguins would eventually take the series and the Stanley Cup.
It was close, but not close enough. And we lost at Pittsburgh, but we get good experience, we get good chemistry, and I hope this year is going to be a better year for us.
With so many great goals, you would think it's tough to pick the 2 best ones, but the top 2 were no-brainers.
Some of the goals are just incredible. I mean, last year against Montreal, I think it was kind of like the nicest goal I've seen.
My favorite one was the one against Montreal, because it was so clever and so improvisational, the way he passed the puck to himself off the wall.
On a send-out for Hammerlick that's too strong. Ovechkin, a beautiful move down the wing. Ovechkin full speed to the inside. He scores! Absolutely brilliant!
The best thing about the goal against the Canadiens was that you witnessed all of his individual talents in one brief little 8-9 second clip there. From the time he made the pirouette through neutral zone, the speed with which he drove to the cage, the ability to score from the seat of his pants, the creativity to try it in the first sense, and absolutely startle Carey Price in the process. Magic.
And Komisarek is back to pick it up. And he goes for Hammerlick as both teams. James Hammerlick can't get there. What a move by Ovechkin about Hammerlick. In comes Ovechkin. In front score. What a goal by Alexander Ovechkin. Unstoppable.
So he chips the puck off the boards, and the first thing you hear is this, just whoa, this collective whoa, no one had ever seen that before. And then whenever he goes in and falls down and scores, the place, just erupts. And there are certain, people say there's a Tiger Woods roar in golf. There's kind of an Ovechkin roar whenever he does something crazy like that.
I've never seen a player in a spur of a moment, in a second in a game, completely go through his options in a fraction of a millisecond and quickly change courses, and that was just off the cuff. That was not something planned when he threw it off the boards and went around the defenseman, then scored the goal. He just has an uncanny way in such tight quarters to make fast decisions, and those decisions are so quick that it catches everybody by surprise. That was a fantastic goal against the Montreal Canadiens.
He's a one-man highlight reel.
Hammerlick was probably on the ice, and they have long shift, and Thomas Ovechkin just changed, and I have fresh legs. And just a moment, I just try some different thing, and it's working, so it's kind of cool goal.
Magnificent!
magnificent move. What a finish.
Here he comes. Ovechkin trying to drag it through there.
Without a doubt, my favorite one is the one in Phoenix. It came from what looked to be an innocent-looking, simple one-on-one rush and turned into something that I am likely to never see again.
Alexander Ovechkin curl and drag to the backhand. Simply sensational!
The Phoenix goal that everyone seems to call the goal was the greatest goal I've ever seen him score. Anybody that can go around a defenseman, shoot the puck looking away from the net on his backhand, on his butt, I mean, I don't think there'll ever be one that can be duplicated like that one in Phoenix.
I tell people from my perspective of standing on the bench is looking over at Phoenix's bench and watching Wayne Gretzky watch the big screen over and over.
And even Wayne Gretzky's looking up on the scoreboard to take a second look.
Arguably the greatest player in the game is in awe of Alexander Ovechkin scoring a goal.
I've seen it on TV, the goal he was doing against Phoenix, when he was laying down on his back, and just, I don't know how he did that, but it's a fantasy goal, I think. But he only needed it once.
Now picked up by Ovechkin. Here he comes. Ovechkin trying to drag it through there. He scored!
I remember I went in behind him and I lost track of where the puck was, and all I saw him was sliding in the corner, and then I looked down the net and the puck was in there, and I didn't know how it got in there. So obviously it was, probably one of the best goals probably ever happened in hockey.
Brandon Wheat have a puck, try get out in the zone, take the puck, go one-on-one against Mara, make some move out, and just try to hit my back. So
Ovechkin, when it looked like it was no longer possible, he still got it done.
it was pretty good too.
In a brilliant young NHL career, Alex has scored some of the nicest goals ever. With his scoring prowess, you have to wonder where he will rank when he hangs up his skates for good.
With good health and a long-term career, this is the type of player who has the motivation and drive to be a 700-plus goal scorer, and he may do more than that.
I only see Alex Ovechkin at someday down the road here breaking the NHL record for goals, points, penalty minutes. I think he's going to be right at the top.
And hopefully Stanley Cups down the road and everything. So I think everybody's going to remember everything he did well into the future.
There's no reason why he can't continue and be one of the greatest players that ever played this game.
And he will be mentioned in the same way as Gretzky is, Lemieux is, Gordie Howe, Ovechkin. That's all going to be in a small group of players in the future for our game, and they will all be mentioned in the same breath.
Well, my career just started, so let's talk about it later.
Alex Ovechkin, he is something to behold.
This guy's spectacular. He's superhuman.